everybody, Infinite Shinjo here, and welcome to a Sun and Moon anime discussion. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last few months or so, then I'm sure that you heard about Brock and Misty returning to the Sun and Moon anime in episodes 42 and 43. At the time that I'm recording this, it's been a day since I've watched episode 43, and I just love the episodes. And I figured to just make a video talking about what I like, what I didn't so much like. But yeah, there's not going to be a slideshow of pictures between the episodes just for the sake of copyright. And I mean, even just having this one picture on might be an issue. I have heard some stories about copywriting just for a picture, so you never know what could happen with YouTube, right? Now, I'm not going to go full in depth on what happens in each and every episode, just for the sake of time, and if you watch the episode, you know what happened. So episode 42 was just the opener for how all this is going to happen. It's the trainer school anniversary, and they decided to head back to Kanto. And one thing I like from that scene is, I can't remember exactly how the scene went, but it opens with Kukui saying, hey, it's the school's anniversary, so because of that, they're gonna go over to Kanto, and everybody's excited, and Ash is just upset. It's like, why are we going to Kanto? And from his perspective, I can kind of see how that would be upsetting, because he wants to see new Pokemon in the Alola region. So it's just like, I don't want to go to Kanto. That just made me laugh a little bit. But then they get there, Brock and Misty are reintroduced with their new designs. We meet the variations of Alolan Pokemon. We get a lot of cameos from Pokemon of Ashes. Like, let me see if I can remember all the cameos. There were his Tauros, which I'm pretty sure his Tauros were shown every single time that Palatown is shown. But besides Tauros, there were Squirtle, Corphish, Totodile. I feel like there was more. Muck. I'm pretty sure Muck was there. But I can't think of any other cameos of Ash's Pokemon. So the first episode is just Misty interacting with the girls, Brock interacting with the guys, and Team Rocket comes in and does their Team Rocket thing. And Jigglypuff makes a nice little cameo at the end of that episode. And of course, after that Jigglypuff scene, everybody's going all cuckoo bananas over the fact that when Jigglypuff draws on everybody with its marker, Staryu is shown with 4 stars, and everybody's thinking, oh, that's a Dragon Ball. But honestly, well, I'll get back to that later after I discuss episode 43. But episode 43, they go to Cerulean Gym. Psyduck is watching the gym because Psyduck. And pretty much the episode is all battles. Misty and Brock both get to battle twice. Misty battles against Lana and Mallow. Brock battles against Sophocles and Lily. And then Misty battles against Ash, and Brock battles against Kiawe. And that is one of the more interesting parts of it, because I'm not going to quote this perfectly, but the episode where Ash battles Misty is called something like Z Moves versus Mega Evolutions. And of course, to that, Misty has a Mega Gyarados and Brock has a Mega Steelix. And the whole premise is, which one is better, Z Moves or Mega Evolution? And Brock battles Kiawe, and his Mega Evolution topples over Kiawe's Z Moves. And then when Misty and Ash battle, the reverse happens and Z Move actually wins. So I like how they did make it one-sided with like, oh, Z Moves win every time. Oh, Mega Evolutions win every time. But those battles were some of the more, not choreographed. They were some of the better animated battles that I have seen in Pokemon. Especially when Kiawe is battling Brock Steelix. Because that scene where Steelix uses Dig, and then Kiawe says something like, Steelix is gonna come right up from under you, Turtonator, watch out. And then Steelix pops out of the ground and his eyes are pure red. That almost scared the heck out of me. And then at the end of the episode, Ash says, "Hey, Misty, Brock, you should come to Alola sometime." And they says, "Yeah, we sure will." And Kukui says, "I'm building a Pokemon League." And then they head back. And in a nutshell, those are the 2 episodes. And now, hopefully, this video hasn't gone on for too much longer. But I'm just going to discuss things that I liked about the episodes and things that I disliked about the episodes. The things that I liked about the episodes, well, for starters, the whole premise of it. The idea that Ash actually goes and returns to Kanto in the middle of his journey is something that has never been done in the series. And it even says on Bulbapedia, this is the first time this has happened. And that alone is what makes it very interesting, very cool, very awesome, especially since I grew up with the Gen 1 anime, and this seems like it's kind of a love letter to all the old fans. It's just like, you've been sticking around with us for this long, here, we're bringing Brock and Misty back into the show. And another thing that I like is the continuity. Now what I mean by that is Brock still has his Steelix, which he had in Battle Frontier. Misty doesn't have Togepi because she gave that up after it evolved into Togetic in the Hoenn region. And this I actually forgot about. In episode 43, I believe it was, Kukui is introducing Brock and Misty again, and Kukui mentions about how Brock is the former Pewter City gym leader. And then that caught me off guard for a bit, but then I thought, oh yeah, Brock's a Pokemon doctor now, so he probably can't handle being a Pokemon doctor and a gym leader at the same time. Although that stands to question who is actually the gym leader there now, because they had no real mention of it. I think there was a Pokemon Chronicles episode that might have had something to do with that. I know there was an episode where Brock returns to the gym and they're redecorating it to be a water type gym or something like that. And the other things, just all the callbacks to Ash's old Pokemon, Totodile, Corphish, Squirtle. Even Squirtle was there, and Squirtle isn't normally at Oak's lab, so that makes it even more hilarious. And another one is Jigglypuff, of course, and actually I can jump back to what I was talking about with Staryu earlier. When I first saw Jigglypuff riding on Staryu, and I saw the 4-star Dragon Ball, or that's what everybody calls it at least, honestly, Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff was not the first thing that I thought of. Honestly, the first thing that I thought of when I saw that is, oh, they're making a reference to Team 4-Star, because it's 4 stars. Now, of course, Team 4-Star in itself is a reference to Dragon Ball Z. It literally is Dragon Ball Z, just redubbed with awesome voices and a lot less sense than the original show. Well, I love it anyway. But also, one of the last few things that I liked about it with continuity is in episode 43, they're all talking about how Ash participated in the Kanto gyms back when he was in Kanto. And then Kiawe asked Ash something like, oh, you went to Kanto and you got all these badges? And then Brock and Misty, I don't remember how exactly it was, but they're trying not to laugh or something like that. And they said, and one of them said something like, well, he kind of didn't get ours fairly or something like that. I think Misty says that, and Brock says, oh yeah, you're right about that. And Misty's face during that scene just makes me laugh so much. And I love how they kept that little continuity with how Ash actually didn't get their badges. Because in Brock's sense, he set off the sprinklers in his gym, and Brock's brothers and sisters were holding Ash back from delivering the final blow. And Ash decided to just forfeit, walks out of the gym. Brock gives him the badge anyway. And then in Misty's case, Team Rocket intervenes, as always. He takes care of them, and then Misty's sisters figure, okay, we're gonna just give you the badge. So I love that little continuity, and I love how Ash actually finally got Misty's badge in a legitimate battle. because I don't think Misty and Ash have actually battled in a while. Well, Misty hasn't been in the anime for a while, but even when Misty was there, I don't think they actually battled against each other all that much. I don't remember the last time they did. I think there was some World Islands tournament that was going on, and I think that might have been the last time they battled, because that was near the end of Johto. I don't remember if they battled each other in the Mastermon and Mirage Pokemon special. So, I feel like the World Islands Cup was the last time that they battled. And I guess the final thing for me to mention on the pro side is Brock and Misty's transition to the Sun and Moon anime art style. Now, at first, I was wondering how they're going to look if they ever decided to bring them back, because the Sun and Moon art style, as you all know, is a lot more, I guess, cartoony than the other series. And personally, I think that Brock and Misty have adapted well to the Sun and Moon art style. Brock took a little getting used to, but I think Misty transitioned very well over to the Sun and Moon art style. And now that I'm thinking about it, I might as well mention this because I feel like everybody's gonna comment it if I don't. Brock and Misty's little nods to the Gen 1 games when they're battling. Now, if you don't know what I mean, when Brock battles Kiawe, Brock takes his shirt off and he's standing with his arms crossed, just like it looks like when you're battling him in the Gen 1 games. I'm not actually sure if he has his shirt actually off in the Gen 1 games when you battle him, or it just looks like that, but that's just a nice little nod. And then when Misty's battling, she has a little pose right before she Mega Evolves, and it looks exactly like when you battle her in the Gen 1 games as well. So I feel like those two instances were no coincidence that they decided to include them. And overall, I just liked the two episodes as a whole, but there were a couple of things that I had a problem with. And the first one is its pacing, specifically in episode 42. Because episode 42 has them get to Kanto, meet Misty and Brock, see all the different Alolan forms, and then it just seems like everything is just so high-paced, I guess to call it, that there's too many things happening at once. Because we have Misty and Brock returning, we have the scene at the trainer school at the start, seeing all the different Alolan forms, the two Marowaks fighting with each other, Ash and the guys in one scene, Misty and the girls in another scene, Team Rocket coming in. There's just so much happening in that very first episode that I feel like it would have been better had they had more episodes. Now, I'm not sure if it was only this way to me, but I felt like when the Sun and Moon animators found out that they were going to be able to return Brock and Misty to the anime, they were just told, okay, you're going to be able to bring back Brock and Misty, but it's only for 2 episodes. So they just had to scramble and include as much stuff as they could in those 2 episodes. And because of that, it feels a little bit cluttered, but episode 43 makes up for it with the very, very cool battles. Now, another thing that I have a problem with is they didn't explain at all how Brock and Misty got Mega Evolution. Now, I know they did the same thing with Trevor in the XY anime, where he just happens to have a Mega Evolution, and they don't explain it at all. But I would have liked at least a little bit of an explanation to how Brock and Misty got Mega Evolution, just so they could have a little bit of an interesting story with that. Feel like what they could have done is take out the battle where Misty battles the 2 girls and Brock battles Sophocles and Lily. Take those battles out entirely from that episode and just have the 2 Mega Evolution versus Z-Move battles. And then when they question to how Brock and Misty got Mega Evolutions, they would have some sort of flashback to explain, oh, here's how I got my Mega Stone, here's how I got my Keystone. Just to have some sort of explanation to how they got Mega Evolution. Because I'm just still here wondering, how did they get Mega Evolution again? Now, it's not that big of an issue, but I would have liked a little bit of an explanation to how they got their Mega Evolution. Now, this last little nitpick isn't really that big of a deal, but I would have liked to see more of Ash's Pokemon at Oak's Lab, because the only cameos that we got were Squirtle, Corphish, Totodile, Muck, of course Tauros, among others that I may forget. But I would have liked to see some of his other Pokemon, like maybe Noctowl, Kingler maybe, some of the more obscure ones. And I mean, the thing that gets me is we didn't even get to see Charizard there. And Charizard is at Oak's Lab because he dropped it off at the end of Black and White. So, yeah, I would have liked to see more of Ash's Pokemon, at least more of the obscure ones, because it's just like, okay, so Squirtle's a fan favorite of Ash's, we'll throw him in there. Oh, Bulbasaur! Bulbasaur was there too, of course. Bulbasaur's a fan favorite, we'll throw him in there. Tauros, we'll throw him in there. It seems like for the most part, they just picked some of the ones that are a lot more favorited by people that like Ash's Pokemon, and it's just like, well, that's it. And it's just kind of weird. I would have liked it to include more of Ash's obscure Pokemon, like even Gibble, for example. And of course, I feel like there was that small percentage of people on the internet that was hoping that Ash would take one of his Pokemon from Oak's Lab and bring it with him to Alola. And I would have liked that, but realistically, I don't know if it would have happened. Well, it didn't happen. But overall, the episodes were good for what they are. They were just a nice little reference back to the Gen 1 anime. Now, of course, I did mention those little cons that I had with it, but overall, I still like the episodes. And if you haven't seen them, well, I don't know. I'm not sure how you would have missed it because I saw them on YouTube all over. I'm not sure if you'd be able to find it any other place. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, I guess, review, discussion kind of video, don't forget to Mach Punch that like button down below and subscribe so you don't miss any of my other videos. Now, of course, after the second episode of this Brock and Misty arc was finished, we got a little bit more news on what's going to be happening in the future of Sun and Moon, but I'll save that for another discussion. So, I will see you in my next video. Have an awesome day, everybody.